Welcome back. We are continuing to roll right through summer, but before we know it, we have rolled right into the school year, right? So helping us make sure our kids are on track even during the summer months is Michelle Segalin. She is the CEO and founder of Successful Study Skills for Kids. Michelle, good morning.
Thank you, Stephanie.
This is such a great way to make sure that kids don't, what is that called when they lose everything over the summer?
The summer slide.
There it is, the summer slide. So we want to make sure that that doesn't happen. So what's the first thing that parents should keep in mind?
I think the first thing is to keep your kids engaged in thinking. And the best way to do that is for them to read. And reading doesn't just have to be about something boring or something that's forced. It can be something fun. One of the things that we love to do and suggest to families is that they start a family book club. So the whole family reads the same book.
That's a great idea, and that is part of building the vocabulary as well.
And the second thing is building the vocabulary. So we ask parents or suggest to parents that they try to get their kids to learn a new word every day.
Wow, and how would you suggest doing that?
Well, in the books that they're reading, or they can even look it up and do a random search on a word that they don't know. All kinds of ways.
Cool. Critical thinking. How would you test your kids and kind of do it, you know, maybe in a fun way, maybe over the dinner table or, you know, on a long car ride to the beach?
Well, there's so many things that you can do to test critical thinking. With all that's going on in the news right now, it would be fun to have conversations on predicting, inferring what's going on in the elections, what's going on in sports, and trying to get kids to determine what an outcome might be.
And so how would you, for instance, do that with the recent political climate? With the Democratic National Convention coming up, what would be kind of a question that you could bring up?
You might ask, well, what do you think would be the best possible outcome for the candidates? What would be the thing that would get people most interested in what they're saying? And try to have debates about that.
That's interesting. What's the next tip?
The next thing is to consider working with your student on executive functioning, which is a buzzword right now, but executive functioning really is taking a large project and breaking it out into smaller pieces or smaller tasks. So one of the things that we like to do, and kids don't even know that you are working with them on executive functioning, is have them plan maybe a barbecue or a cookout or a picnic. So might be next Sunday. What are the steps that you need to do to prepare for that? You need to buy the food. What's the budget? If you need to prepare, how many days in advance do you need to prepare? Do you need to make invitations? So all of that is actually using executive functioning skills.
And executive functioning just means being able to make a list and be able to organize?
Right, make a list, plan it out, break it into smaller pieces, or what they say, chunking it into smaller pieces.
So that things don't seem so hard to attain.
And overwhelming. We
Right.
don't want that. And that's, you know, relating that to preparing for a test. You don't want to be cramming. So you want to think maybe a week before the test and break it out into smaller pieces. And so that would be the correlation.
All right, and any other tips?
Well, the best way to learn something is really to teach something. So we suggest that if you have an older student or even one student, that they go out and maybe volunteer and teach maybe a neighborhood child, maybe how to read, or maybe have that child read to them. And teaching something is a great way to keep your skills fresh and sharp and crisp.
And how would you suggest maybe them teaching something even if they're not really into reading or math? Could you maybe teach a neighborhood kid a sport or music or something that they're interested in?
Absolutely, absolutely. All of those are great suggestions. Maybe even a board game that would, maybe Scrabble, for example, which would be a great way to build vocabulary,
Sure.
strategy, as well as teach, you know, another child.
Perfect. Sounds like a game night should be in the books tonight, maybe.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Michelle Segalin. Great information, as always.
Thank you, Stephanie.
And for more information about Michelle, you can head to our website, WTNH.com. Just click on that On Air tab, pull it down to the Good Morning Connecticut Weekend section. 7:45 now on your Sunday morning. And Kevin, it's going to be another hot one out there, right? Putting the sun in Sunday.
Yes, without a doubt. We're going to see the sun shining all day today. It's going to be another hot day. Not as hot as what we saw yesterday.